Biker activists are very familiar with the term education, not legislation. In fact, you might be the member of an organization that is aimed towards education. Well, here's a little educating from the repeal machine. Today's lesson is entitled Mathematics for Biker Activists. Now, we all know time is money. Politicians really know time is money. In fact, they can't get elected without a lot of it. Now, they need cash money and they need volunteer time. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at our investment in activism in terms of what results we get. Now first, we're going to have to put on our thinking caps. Now don't worry, you don't need a calculator, you don't even need pencil or paper. All you got to do is catch the concept, so kick back and relax and we'll get started. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to just explain a simple concept about man hours. Okay, we have motorcyclists and we have hours, and if you multiply them by each other, we get man hours. Okay, now let's say you're an activist and you go to meetings once a month faithfully, except Christmas and Mother's Day. Okay, so you're one activist and you go to 10 meetings for an hour. So let's say last year you invested 10 hours in activism. Okay, but I know you don't go to a meeting by yourself. You go with your riding buddies. So let's say there are 10 of you. We have 10 motorcyclists who meet 10 times a year for an hour, and that comes up to 100 man hours. But I bet you your meeting is not the only one. There's probably several others in your state, so let's just pick a round number like 10. So let's say there are 10 meetings. That means we have 100 motorcyclists meeting 10 times a year for an hour. Now we're up to 1,000 man hours. That's a lot of time and investment, but you want to get results for it. So let's take a look at the numbers this way. Politicians know that every campaign volunteer can generate about 1 vote an hour. It doesn't sound like much. 1 vote takes a whole hour to get it, but that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Delivering campaign signs, making phone calls, and hanging pizza flyers. That's what it's all about. So let's run the numbers. Let's see how it looks. Let's say we have 10 motorcyclists and they are working 10 weekends. But not only they work in 10 weekends, the reason why we picked that is because the campaign season runs from Labor Day to Election Day. That's roughly 10 weekends. And let's say you work 5 hours a day on a weekend, so that's 10. So right away, we have 10 times 10 times 10, that's 1,000 man hours. Now if you remember what I said earlier, each campaign volunteer can produce 1 vote an hour, so that's 1,000 votes. That's what we're talking about, and that's in 1 district. Okay. Now if you multiply that times 10 different districts, well, we're off of this chart, and I think I do need to get a calculator for that one. But the important point to consider is that when you work for a candidate who supports your position, and you work for an electable candidate, that means it has to be a close race. If you do those 2 things, your time is well spent. That's what we're all about here at the Repeal Machine, helping you do just that. And I'll see you on the campaign trail.